Hey guys, today on People Now, Kanye West backing out of buying a $14 million condo, but wait until you hear how much money they are reportedly losing from the deposits.
More revelations from Meghan Markle's inner circle in today's royal record.
Blackface scandals and a sexual assault allegation engulfed leading officials in Virginia. What comes next?
Plus, stars from the Hulu show Pen 15 are here telling us about their hilarious time on set.
I can't make babies, but I can do a lot of other stuff.
Rita Moreno talks sex, love, and the new West Side Story.
It's all live today on People Now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to People Now. Great to see you. It wouldn't be a proper Throwback Thursday without a little trip down memory lane, right? Justin Theroux doing exactly that with his appearance on Entertainment Weekly's Couch Surfing tomorrow.
I love a good throwback. So he's going to be breaking down some of his most iconic movies. And to get you excited, we want to know, what's your favorite Justin role? Is it The Leftovers? Maybe The Girl on the Train? His hilarious cameo on Parks and Recs? Or don't forget Zoolander. It's a good one.
Zoolander.
Vote in our
good.
People poll or just tweet us your answer with the hashtag People Now.
Confession, I need to work on Leftovers.
Yeah.
Do some catch up?
Catch up.
Anyway, we'll check in on those answers and we'll get a sneak peek of Justin on Couch Surfing a little later. But for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending for today. Kanye West is reportedly backing out of buying a $14 million Miami condo despite already putting a down payment. Reports say the rapper is returning the condo he bought as a Christmas present for his wife, Kim Kardashian. And a source tells People they will lose their $600,000 deposit on the property. Wow. Take that in for a second. The condo is in one of Miami Beach's most exclusive luxury buildings, located directly on the beach near a celeb favorite hotel. It has access to amenities like a spa, a fitness center, a private beach club, all the things as you do. The couple reportedly decided to return the condo after realizing it wasn't as private as they thought it would be. It wasn't private enough. And they're looking elsewhere for a more private and secluded vacation home for the family. A source tells People the Kardashian Wests both love spending time in Miami. They bought a house there a few years ago. It's not known whether they've been renting out that property or if they've sold it, but their primary residence is a $60 million mansion in Hidden Hills, California. In November of 2017, the couple sold their previous house for $17.8 million, more than 1.5 times the $11 million that they paid for it in 2013. So we'll see how they sort all of this out. Good problems. Now on to some somber news, guys. Actor Steve Levy, predominantly known as Steve Bean, has died after a battle with nose cancer. He was 58 years old. Levy appeared in a variety of different television shows and films throughout his career, including most recently the hit Showtime series Ray Donovan and Shameless. Levy's career spanned for decades. In 1998, he had a guest appearance on the ABC drama Dharma and Greg as one of Greg's poker buddies who had recently lost his job, with Dharma helping him get through some feelings about it. His first credited role, according to IMDb, was in 1988 when he played a reporter on Cheers. He also appeared in movies like Blast from the Past, opposite Alicia Silverstone and Brendan Fraser, as well as The Out-of-Towners, starring Goldie Hawn and Steve Martin. Quite a list of credits there. The actor was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer towards the end of 2016. Levy wrote a personal essay for Mel magazine in 2018 where he detailed what he called his year without a nose. He did later have a prosthetic nose for some time. Now, in that essay, he also revealed that doctors had informed him that he had 1 year to live. According to his obituary on Legacy.com, Levy died on January 21st at his Los Angeles home. He's survived by his wife Caroline and son Jacob, as well as his parents and numerous other family members. Our thoughts go out to them during this difficult time. Virginia politics are in utter disarray as 3 of the state's top leaders are simultaneously engulfed in controversies ranging from racism to alleged sexual assault. The newest development in Virginia's unrest comes from Attorney General Mark R. Herring, who released a statement on Wednesday admitting to wearing blackface in college. Now, just days after Virginia Governor Ralph Northam admitted to also once wearing blackface, Attorney General Herring published an official statement on Twitter. It said, "I am sure we have all done things at one time or another in our lives that show poor judgment and, worse yet, have caused some level of pain to others. I have a glaring example from my past that I have thought about with deep regret in the many years since." He continued by adding, "In 1980, when I was a 19-year-old undergraduate in college, some friends suggested we attend a party dressed like rappers we listened to at the time, like Curtis Blow, and perform a song. It sounds ridiculous even now writing it, but because of our ignorance and glib attitudes, and because we did not have an appreciation for the experiences and perspectives of others, we dressed up and put on wigs and brown makeup." Now, later in that statement, the Attorney General said, "This conduct is in no way reflective of the man I have become in the nearly 40 years since." Herring then outlined some of the work that he's done combating racial bias in Virginia law enforcement and reinforced his fight against hate crimes. Now, closing his statement, Herring says that I have contributed to the pain Virginians have felt this week is the greatest shame I've ever felt. I will say that from the bottom of my heart. I'm deeply, deeply sorry for the pain that I have caused with this revelation. Meanwhile, on Sunday night, a conservative website emerged with sexual assault allegations against Virginia's Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, to which he immediately denied the allegations, citing it as untrue, political sabotage, and character assassination. But on Wednesday, just hours after Herring released his statement, Fairfax's accuser, Vanessa Tyson, a fellow at Stanford University and associate professor at Scripps College, publicly identified herself. She recalls an interaction in July of 2004 at the Democratic National Convention where she claims Fairfax sexually assaulted her. Tyson explains what began as consensual kissing quickly turned into a sexual assault. Tyson alleges that Fairfax then forced her to perform oral sex, adding she can't believe that Fairfax would have thought it was consensual given her obvious distress. Fairfax has responded to Tyson's allegations, saying that their encounter was consensual and that he supports the aims of the Me Too movement and believes the truth should always be sought. Now, as for Virginia's governor, Ralph Northam, well, take a quick look at this.
When I was confronted with the images yesterday, I was appalled that they appeared on my page, but I believe then and now that I am not either of the people in that photo. I stand by my statement of apology to the many Virginians who were hurt by seeing this content on a yearbook page that belongs to me. It is disgusting. It is offensive. It is racist. And it was my responsibility to recognize and prevent it from being published in the first place. That same year, I did participate in a dance contest in San Antonio, in which I darkened my face as part of a Michael Jackson costume.
So much to take in about this. Here's the medical school yearbook photo that Northam backtracked on. He's now saying that he's not one of the two people dressed in blackface and as a member of the KKK. However, he's saying that he did dress in blackface at another point in time. Here's the original statement that Northam had released when the yearbook page was first revealed. On February 1st, Northam posted a statement to his website saying, "I'm deeply sorry for the decision I made to appear as I did in this photo and for the hurt that decision caused then and now." Well, the original statement still appears on his website, despite now denying that he appears in the photo. Lots going on.
There's a lot going on.
You can stay on people.com for all the latest developments on all of this controversy in Virginia as they become available. But Andrea, on very different notes, you have more for us in Star Trek.
Let's switch gears a little bit here. We are kicking off Star Trek today with an exclusive look into the life with the Biebers. Justin and Hailey Bieber, formerly Baldwin, admit they saved sex for after marriage. The newlyweds recently made their big debut as a husband and wife on the cover of Vogue magazine. And during their interview, Justin spilled all about his religious commitments and their abstinence. The singer says God doesn't ask us not to have sex for him because of rules. It's because he's trying to protect us. Justin goes on to say, quote, he's like, I'm trying to protect you from hurt and pain. I think sex can cause a lot of pain. Sometimes people have sex because they don't feel good enough, because they lack self-worth. Women do that and guys do that. Justin says that he wanted to rededicate himself in that way because he felt it was better for the condition of his soul, adding there are perks and you get rewarded for good behavior. He says he believes God blessed him with Hailey as a result. The lovebirds were spotted posing for these photos back in December, and a source confirmed to People at the time that it was in fact a Vogue shoot. The insider says the shoot took all day. Both Justin and Hailey were super into taking the pictures. They did multiple outfit changes, and no surprises here. The source says Hailey looked gorgeous, as always. The source even revealed that she was doing cartwheels on set while both her and Justin were laughing, clearly enjoying newlywed life. All right, looks like Matt Damon isn't as skilled in surfing as he is in acting. On Thursday, the actor struggled over and over to keep his feet on the board while surfing in Australia. Look, it's hard. But if at first you don't succeed, you get back up and try again, right? It's what Jason Bourne would do. Now, Matt didn't let his wipeouts get to him. Eventually, practice made perfect. He got on his feet. No word on how long that lasted, but we are proud of you, Matt. Though he may not be a skilled surfer, look at those muscles. They're on full display. He looks great. Matt is currently enjoying a vacation with his family in Byron Bay, Australia. He was seen walking along the beach with his wife and his two daughters. And get this, joining them on the trip is Matt's close friend, Chris Hemsworth, and his family. Guess our invite got lost in the mail, Jeremy. I gotta say, surfing is hard. The first time I did it, I fell so many times.
I was a total disaster the first time. I had a short board. You're supposed to have a longer board. Next time I had a board so long it was basically like a raft.
It's a very humbling,
Then it was way
it's
easier.
a humbling
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah,
You know, it was bad. All
But
right.
good for them. Looking great out there.
I know. All right, moving on to this. Ja Rule is not hiding after the disaster that was the Fyre Festival and the aftermath of the 2 documentaries that chronicled it. In fact, he's currently promoting a new app which seems very similar to an app mentioned in the docs. The rapper shared a tweet promoting his latest creation, Ice Connect, also known as the Icon app. So according to its website, the app is a celebrity entertainment booking and concierge service created by industry veterans. So if that sounds familiar to you, it's because the Fyre Festival was initially planned to be a promotional tool for another celebrity booking app called Fyre. So could this be a case of rebranding? I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah, people are already comparing Ja Rule's new venture to the failed Fyre Fest, in which he partnered with Billy McFarland. Now, the internet forgets nothing, of course. Ja Rule has denied all liability in the failed Fyre Fest that led to McFarland's 6-year jail sentence. But creating an app so similar to the Fyre app has left people kind of doubting its legitimacy. The failed Fyre Festival was the subject of 2 competing documentaries by Netflix and Hulu. Ja Rule has previously responded to the films on Twitter, defending his involvement in the event. In one of the tweets, he said, "I too was hustled, scammed, bamboozled, hoodwinked, and led astray." Anyway, we'll keep you posted on all of that. Those are your Star Tracks for today.
Stay with us, guys. Sarah Silverman's shocking allegation against her doctor. Hear what she had to say. Plus, it's Perfumegate, a real thing. Did Meghan Markle really insist that air freshener be sprayed in the church before her wedding? Her inner circle speaking out about that and a lot more coming up in just a bit.
All right, in honor of Justin Theroux's appearance on Couch Surfing this week, we've been asking you what's your favorite role from the star in our People poll. Let's check in on our results so far. What do you think it's going to be? Looks like the girl
on the train. Good choice.
I thought Parks and Rec would be higher up.
Man, he was, I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but so sinister in that movie, Girl on the Train.
Yeah.
Such
So
a great
people like
role
the
for him.
intense
Yeah.
Justin. Okay,
Yeah.
we feel ya.
Keep voting, guys, in the People poll. We'll check back in later, but now we move on to this.
All right, we have to talk about this again. So this story is nuts. Kanye West is backing out of the $14 million Miami condo he bought for his wife, Kim Kardashian, as a Christmas present.
It's reportedly because of a lack of privacy at the location they were looking at. The property, it's on the beach. It's located next to a hotel that's visited often by celebrities. And with celebrities comes, of course, paparazzi.
Oh, and the Kardashians, I mean, that family gets photographed so often. They're like really hot for paparazzi.
Yeah, right. They bring them with them. It's just part of it.
And
It's-
being next to also a celebrity favorite hotel, I feel like that wasn't really good planning on their part.
Yeah, and so they're losing their $600,000 deposit. We've been talking about this. This is just mind-blowing to consider, but then you put it in their world, in their perspective.
That's pocket change.
Kind of pocket
Kind
change
of.
for them. They still have that $60 million home, that mansion in Hidden Hills, California. That's their primary residence.
Yeah, they bought this home in 2014, reportedly for $20 million. And then they actually sold their previous home at almost an $8 million profit in 2017.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money we're talking about here.
Looking for a vacation home here, but some sources have confirmed to People they actually bought a home in Miami a few years back. It's not known if they sold that home, if they're renting it out. Here's the point. They love Miami. They will eventually be in Miami. And I personally look forward to family pics on the beach in Miami.
All right, well, we'll track along, see what other condo they find. All right, let's talk about this. Comedian Sarah Silverman opened up Wednesday about something that was not so funny.
Yeah, she posted on Instagram a photo of her chest, and in the caption, she opened up about this bizarre and kind of bad experience she had while at a recent mammogram appointment.
Yeah, so she explains she had to get a mammogram, X-ray, and ultrasound because she has dense breasts. So that's when a woman has more, dense tissue than fatty tissue, making cancer screenings more difficult.
When the radiologist went to prep her for the ultrasound, Sarah claims that he used his bare hands during the process. She alleges that it wasn't the first time that he's actually done that.
Yeah,
he did it about like a year ago.
Yeah, and she claims she called him out on it. She asked him, does he need to do that and touch her with his fingers? He said no, and so then he removed his hands from her, explaining that he does it for balance. That's what he said.
So something about the machinery there or whatever the specifics were. Sarah then went on to clarify in that post that she did not believe the radiologist was trying to be inappropriate, but that his actions were kind of troubling to her.
Well, I think it's a little disturbing when you've already asked him not to do it a year ago and then he continues to do it. And you're also not sure if it's even necessary that he has to do it with his bare hands.
Yeah, it's all alleged, obviously, that
Yeah.
any of this happened. And it's one of those things that opens up an interesting conversation about the vulnerability of the doctor's office. You don't even second guess what they're doing, maybe, because it's the doctor and there you are.
Yeah.
But maybe, if something doesn't feel right, you should flag it.
You're
That's
already
sort of
feeling uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
then to be put in that position is really difficult.
Sarah opened up more and she posted in part, wear bleeping gloves. This isn't a date. For him to be so arrogant that he didn't even internalize the problem when I said something to him about it last year is obnoxious, probably a subconscious power thing if we're getting deep.
I also love her because she put in this isn't a date. She always has a sense of humor about everything. But she has vowed to never go back to that radiologist again. And she talks about how it took her a long time to speak up for herself and concluded the post by saying this. She says, all this to say, speak up. Trust that thing in your gut that tells you this bleep ain't right. And of course, getting a lot of love from her Instagram followers.
Yeah, they spoke out. Here's a couple of the comments on her Instagram posts. I'm very sorry that happened to you. There is zero medical reason that he would have to touch you without gloves. As a gymnastics coach, very important to make sure all contact has a specific reason. The guy sounds like a straight up creep.
Yeah, another user says, I'm sorry you had to experience this, and thank you for sharing your story here. One story at a time, we dismantle the pathology of patriarchy.
Something we were talking about with our producers even was the idea that the fact that it was a female patient and then a male doctor, if it were a female doctor, does that change the dynamic? Does it feel more safe?
Well, it does, especially as a woman. I always try to go to a woman doctor because then you don't even have to worry about that element.
Right.
You know?
So maybe, and I think Sarah even said that she'll go to a female doctor from now on.
Yeah.
Anyway, really interesting discussion there. Good news, guys, though, as we move on to this, one day at a time, it's finally back for season 3. Fans were left waiting over a year for new episodes. This is long overdue for people that have been waiting.
And we can let you in on a little spoiler here. The first episode will include a pretty epic celeb guest star. Take a look.
There is my sister, La Diabla herself, with her lizard eyes and her vulture claws and her grey roots. I am here. I love Gloria Estefan. She's just a foul woman. She's hilarious. She calls me Miss Dirty in Spanish, Señora Sucia, which is Miss Dirty. And I call her Señora Asquerosa, Señora Disgusting. She sings like a donkey. We really do. We love each other very much. And she's funny and she's filled with energy and she's hopeful. She's just a terrific woman. I love her. I adore her husband too. It's hard to understand him, but I think I adore him.
Rita is so fun, and her character on the show is just as hilarious. Lydia is such a diva. You can't believe some of the stuff that just comes out of her mouth. It turns out that was exactly how Rita wanted it.
When Norman Lear offered this part in the series, I said, boy, that sounds like fun, but on one condition, or I won't do it. I really want to be a sexual person, a sexual being. Just because she's a grandmother doesn't mean that everything has died or turned to dust. And as it turned out, he was thrilled at the thought of it. And so were the head writers. And so now, you know, we have a very shameless hussy.
It is a man.
It is a stallion. It's there, my dear. I mean, I can't make babies, but I can do a lot of other stuff.
Oh, there we go.
Love it. Hello. I mean, Rita might be 87, but she's still got it.
Yeah, she definitely does. Just look at these photos here as well. Such a fun throwback. We know Rita for so many of her roles over the years. The King and I, Singing in the Rain, now as the abuelita with an active love life. She's doing it all.
But Rita also got serious when she opened up about her real-life experience with love and relationships. She told us about whether she ever thought about getting married again and why.
Someone asked me recently if I would countenance getting married again, and my answer was simple: I would rather eat glass. I don't want to get married. No.
You actually opened up a few years ago about your marriage and not feeling independent in it, right?
Well, you know, I come from that era. I come from an era when you were supposed to obey the man in the family, and they're the ones who knew. I didn't know how to write a check for the longest time. I won't even tell you when that was, but it was more recent than you might think. But I also feel that people who are in love very often collude. You know the word collusion, of course, from nowadays. But it's you know, it's a silent pact that people very often make, in the sense that in my case it was, I'll be the little girl and you be the daddy. And then that stopped working after a while, of course, because the little girl wanted to grow up, and that's when the trouble started. So I was not happily married for a very long time.
And how would you describe the last 8 years since your husband's passing in 2010, right? So around 8 years since then. How would you sum that up?
I'm so happy.
Wow.
I really am.
So glad to hear that. And you know, we couldn't let Rita go without asking her about one of her most famous roles in one of the most famous movies in history, West Side Story, getting a reboot directed by Steven Spielberg. And yes, Rita will be part of it.
This is so exciting. Rita will play a brand new character in the movie, while her iconic role of Anita will be filled by 28-year-old Ariana DeBose. So what qualities does it take to really nail it? Rita told us.
I think you got to be really strong. But I think also Anita is such a spitfire. And I say that in the best sense. But that is what I call strong, too. Mm-hmm. And here's the really great part of West Side Story rebooted, is that Steven and Tony Kushner, who wrote Angels in America, folks, he's doing the script. They have really turned themselves inside out to try to right some wrongs from the original movie, such as having real Hispanic kids playing the sharks, having a young girl play Maria, a really young, she's 17. And she's Colombian, she's not Puerto Rican, but hey, Hispanic is Hispanic. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, in what ways do you hope it stays true to the original? Because it's obviously going to be a different version.
Well, I think it will stay true. I don't think I have to worry about that. I know that some steps are going to be changed, and that's what I'm anxious to see. A fabulous choreographer, Justin Peck, is doing that. And to what extent, I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll be visiting the rehearsals, and I'll say, "Oh, you took that step out? Are you crazy?"
Are you going to put your foot
But
down?
I don't want to make him nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it might be intimidating to have you there.
Pretty sure.
Such a legend.
Well, you know what? Tough dart.
She's so great. All right, guys, moving on to this. Kate Middleton stepped out this week to visit 2 schools in London for one very good cause. Here with all the details on that and more are our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber, and senior news editor, Erin Hill. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Let's start with this. Kate,
Yeah.
always been a champion of mental health with military, with children, with adults, everyone. It's no surprise to see her sort of linking the trip to that cause, but it might resonate even more, right?
Absolutely. So we'll start here with James Middleton, and because I know you love a throwback.
I do.
Thursday,
You got a little
Jeremy,
surprise here.
There is a very old picture of me and James Middleton having possibly a little bit too much fun.
Here we go. Oh, my goodness.
Very
Look at this.
sober.
How long ago was that, Imogen? That could be yesterday.
That's when I was young and fun. Anyway, in all
Yeah, it's still
seriousness,
fun.
James has been incredibly brave talking about his battle with depression. So
Right.
Something that's very, very personal for Princess Kate. And he said that he was actually inspired to follow the lead of Kate, William and Harry in tackling the stigma associated with mental illness. Because they really have had the courage to change the national conversation here.
Yeah, it's meant a lot to them.
Exactly. So this week, Kate headed to two schools in support of Children's Mental Health Week. She participated in an activity where students shared an object that represented something that made them feel good. So she brought along her 2018 Christmas card, which featured herself, William, and the 3 very gorgeous children.
Yeah, that's a nice little personal touch, right?
Absolutely.
And adorable. It makes us all swoon,
really
of course.
sweet moment, her
Yeah.
leaning across the table, showing the photo to the kids,
Yeah.
and asking them if they like to spend time with their families and if that makes them happy too.
And I really like that. Yeah, she had some fun and revealed some sweet details about her kids as well, didn't she?
Yeah, so we learned a lot of fun details about George and Charlotte, especially that Charlotte loves olives, that George and Charlotte love to cook cheesy pasta with her in the kitchen, and they help her make salads and healthy meals. We also learned that she is sharing her love of art with them. She was, of course, an art major in college, and she's been doing some paper macheing with them. And
By the way, I'm impressed with the palette. The olives are an accomplishment. I can't get my girls anywhere near.
There is always a point though with the royal family. So notice this, when those little tidbits come out, actually Kate was making a point about the importance of healthy eating and mental health.
So it's like they connected even with
Yeah.
that. Like, they like this food that's really cute and wild.
Absolutely.
And also, it's connected to the cause. So in this week's People Cover story, 5 of Meghan's best friends are breaking their silence amid what they call global bullying against her. Really interesting revelations here, including one about Meghan's faith. Imogen, tell us a little bit about this.
This is a huge story for People. So wait for this. 5 friends from Meghan's inner circle. They're all anonymous, but a longtime friend, a former co-star, a friend from LA, a one-time colleague, and a close confidant are speaking for the first time. Basically means that Meghan has to have known about this. The friends don't recognise the difficult Duchess the UK press has been portraying, and they basically are speaking out because they want to stand up against what they call the global bullying she's been on the receiving end of. So there have been fascinating tidbits in the story, one of which a longtime friend says that Meghan is very spiritual and she takes her relationship with God very seriously. seriously.
Yeah, so we're learning some personal things about her faith and who she is as a person, but also air freshener gates and everything that happened with that story that kind of emerged surrounding the wedding. Erin, remind us of that and what they say in
that
response.
rumor that came out that she wanted to freshen up the chapel before her ceremony. It smelled kind of musty.
Like get rid of the musty smell,
Right. Her friends are saying that couldn't be further from the truth, just because of her respect for the church and her close relationship with God and how she feels about her faith.
Yeah.
Can I just remind everybody
Yeah.
here that Kate Middleton, when she got married at Westminster Abbey, had Jo Malone candles burning around the Abbey. So take a breath, everybody.
Yeah, right.
And apparently the tiara story is not true as well. You know, there was that huge
Right, which
fiasco about
tiara
the
she will wear, that
right.
she's going to fight about which one
Apparently.
she wanted or whatever. So.
And that she hasn't changed her phone number. So if her dad wanted to get in touch with her, he absolutely
So
could
there's a
and has not.
lot in there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Make it
this. The
inclusive.
sources gave us a little peek at what life is actually like inside Harry and Meghan's Kensington Palace cottage. Really surprising, kind of down-to-earth picture that they kind of paint for us. Erin, what are some of the highlights of that for you?
Yeah, so her friends really wanted to drive home the fact that she's a caring, supportive friend, and she's the ultimate host. One of her friends told the story of when Harry was out of town, she was staying with them in their cottage, and Meghan laid cookies out by the bed, had candles, a robe, a slipper, made meals for them, had tea every day.
I love there was a story of her like doing her nails by like a space heater,
Yeah, and that
like things like that.
incredibly low maintenance before outing. She's painting her nails by a space heater, doing her own hair and makeup. That it's not the diva that.
Yeah,
that's
sort of the
portrayed.
opposite of this idea of living
Yeah.
in this big luxurious palace and waited on hand and foot and all of that. Let's talk about this. Even more surprising takes from friends in the issue. The truth about her relationship with her father and her half-sister. The love of thank you notes. I mean, there are even details here about her sense of humor and her loyalty to her friends. But now that this side of the story is out there, Erin, what does this mean for Meghan and Harry? Do you think this is going to be a turning point in terms of how the press, how the tabloids are treating her, maybe more kindly now?
I think it is. I think that with this out there, it's finally, we're hearing from Meghan's side. We're hearing from her friends for the first time, a glimpse into who she really is.
Yeah, well, and Imogen, for you, you know what the British tabloids can be like. What do you
absolutely.
think? Do they change their tune?
It is very difficult when you start speaking out. It's a slippery slope, so we shall see. But we are about to have all that happy news. There is a new baby coming.
Right.
So maybe this is a little bit of a reset.
Most surprising revelation in all of this for you?
She hasn't changed her phone number.
Okay. You would think that would be maybe the first
that
thing.
her father can get in touch with her. That was shocking to me.
Yeah, how about for you?
For
Erin?
me, I love that detail of when she did her USO trip years ago, and she's still in touch and writing with a lot of those soldiers she met.
Yeah, she's really got a heart for
Yeah.
those types of things that precedes her time now in the royal family. For more from Meghan's Inner Circle, you can pick up a copy of this week's issue of People on newsstands Friday. But now we move on, Imogen. I want to touch on some sobering headlines regarding the Queen's security detail. This all connected to Brexit and the unrest surrounding Brexit. Remind us about it, what's going on, and how this sort of affects the Queen's security.
What you need to know about Brexit is it's a fiasco. Nobody knows what's going on, and there could well be a disaster if Brexit happens on March the 29th without a deal in place. So British officials have reportedly adapted Cold War-era emergency plans to evacuate the royal family if there's civil unrest. Now, they may have the plans, but that doesn't mean to say that the Queen will let herself be evacuated. During World War II, she and Princess Margaret were not evacuated to Canada. They remained in the country. And indeed, King George and Queen Elizabeth, at the time her parents, remained at Buckingham Palace in London for much of the war because they wanted to look the East End in the face. So the security detail may be saying that they've got all these plans in place, but the Queen, if she wants to remain in London, will remain in London. She's
Plans
the
are
Queen.
there.
Yeah.
Will she adhere to them? It's up to her. We'll see what
up to her.
happens. Before you guys go, Harry and Meghan, they actually have a special event on the books for tonight. Tell us about that. What's going on?
So they're going to attend the Endeavour Fund Awards. They honour the achievements of wounded, injured and sick servicemen and women who have been taken part in sporting and adventure challenges. Harry and Meghan have chaired the judging panel, which has decided the final winners.
And so, Erin, tell us a little bit about that tonight and how significant it is.
Yeah, so this is a cause really important to Harry. Obviously, he has the Invictus Games, which is in support of wounded servicemen and women. Harry and Meghan made their first appearance together, public appearance at the Invictus Games.
Yeah, she had the ripped jeans.
Oh,
We will never forget.
Jeremy.
So it was very significant.
So yeah, and tonight there will be 3 really significant awards. One of them is called the Henry Worsley Award, and it's in honor of Henry Worsley, who both William and Harry were close with and have remained close with his family since his death in 2016 when he was trekking across Antarctica on behalf of the Endeavour Fund.
Wow.
So
So a really big event. We'll be tracking along with that. Imogen, Erin, thank you both very much for being here. It's great to see you.
You lose. You will set the women's movement back 10 years.
You don't get to tell me when to quit.
Justin Theroux is starring in the new movie On the Basis of Sex. The actor recently sat down with Couchsurfing's Lola Ogunaike to take a look at some of his most loved performances, everything from Sex and the City to The Leftovers, even this latest project. We have an exclusive peek into that episode. Check this out.
Listen, Paul, squash.
Jared Leto.
Call me.
The business cards.
No can do.
Okay, how much hair gel was on this?
So
set?
much.
So
it's
much
almost
gel.
like I'm doing like a young Jared Kushner.
That's awesome.
By the way, it's not a bad comparison for these psychopaths.
Not at all. Okay, but Jared Leto, you, Christian Bale.
What do you think?
All went on to become household names.
This was like kind of one of those wonderful things. Chloe Sevigny's in this. It was just a really cool thing. It was the second time I worked with the director Mary Herron. She had a movie called I Shot Andy Warhol.
I love the throwback. I mean, that was a scene from the classic film American Psycho that came out in the year 2000.
I didn't even remember that he was in
No, I
American
know.
Psycho, that Justin Theroux was in it. He plays Timothy Bryce in kind of a handful of scenes.
I mean,
there.
there's just so many now iconic people in that movie, like he said. Even Reese Witherspoon was in it.
Really impressive.
Yeah. And you guys can watch Justin Theroux dive into a slew of his other roles on Friday on Couchsurfing. Check that out on People TV.
You're the one that said we can't do everything together when you were in the closet with that boy.
I only said that because I did you know what, and you didn't do it with me.
Are you serious?
My mom. Oh my God, my mom is literally like right outside. So can you please be quiet?
Little clip there from the new show, Pen 15. It stars Maya Erskine and Anna Konkle, who play 13-year-olds battling middle school as they remember it in the year 2000.
And Maya and Anna are live with us now to tell us all about the hilarious new series. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Great to see you.
I was telling you before, like, I usually don't find comedies very funny, and I was laughing out loud watching this at my desk. So
She's a tough crowd. She is.
No, I am. It was so good.
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Let's start with that. The elephant in the room, Pen 15, and there's some innuendo going on there. So tell us about coming up with this title.
It's kind of based on like a middle school prank that if you were a part of the Reject Club at all, like you would end up with someone popular, more popular than you, going like, do you want to be a part of my club? You have to get Pen 15. You'd be like, yeah, I've never been a part of a club. I'd love to be a part of a club. And then you have penis written on your hand.
All day.
But it's
And Sharpie, but
Yes.
And I got to call out our friend Thomas Gibbons,
Who helped name it.
Yeah, he helped name it.
Okay, wow, creative
I
guy.
definitely had that in my middle school.
It feels like the epitome of what we're celebrating. It's an ode to the rejects.
Can I just tell you that I remember this happening now, but when I first heard the title and we were tossing it around, it didn't click for me until I saw it printed out, right? Like Pen 15. I would have fallen for the trick again. As a full-grown man, they got me. You're the co-creators, you're the EPs, you're stars of the show. What was appealing about choosing to play the 7th grade version of yourselves as adults and the whole thing?
That's a really good question. What's appealing about it? I mean, it definitely was traumatic to relive through some of those things.
Yeah.
But I think why that age was really exciting to us is because at the time we hadn't really seen anything that captured it in a raw and honest way, the way we experienced it.
I agree with you, yeah.
And to have us play these 13-year-olds, you're able to explore the more R-rated things that you don't have real 13-year-olds
And that's what
do.
it really was, you know?
Yeah.
And now there's a lot of great content about this, but 5 or 6 years ago was when it took that long, was when we first started working on this.
Right.
And you're like, how do we show how it really was? So.
And you guys are really convincing. As 13,
really?
yeah, no, I love it. You kind of forget that you're
You
not
guys are
13.
so immature. It's perfectly believable.
You could, like, physically and emotionally, you kind of become these characters. What was the hardest challenge for you?
What do you think?
The hardest challenge in being 13?
Yeah.
Honestly, it was being around other 13-year-olds. While that helped us get into character, it also brought back the feeling of being left out sometimes and feeling like a reject, because you naturally feel like a freak being around, real kids. Here we are with our, I have a bowl cut, a mustache, and she's got braces and is taller than everyone. And we're flat-chested, we look jacked up, and, these kids are looking at us like, who is this? And I don't want to talk to you. At first, they were very nice by the end, but I think at first they thought we were
They're
scary.
like, what is this? What have I signed up for?
Yeah, and so I felt immediately taken back to that time of, oh, I'm not good enough, and I gotta hide, and
Yeah, and I think piggybacking on that, kind of like letting your vulnerabilities out, in the sense of, you become an adult and you get better at pretending that, at least for me, that I'm not as insecure as I used to be or whatever, but really I'm just like better at better at singing like this instead of like this.
Yeah, right,
Like
yeah,
you just
yeah.
kind of learn a little bit.
Like masking.
You
You're
get to
better at
mask
masking.
it. So
Yeah.
at first it was kind of scary, and then it felt kind of like a relief.
Yeah.
I just wish you'd go back to everyone that age and just say, it gets better. We all go through this and it gets better. It's not the end of the world. Anyway.
And you two are best friends. You met in college, so
Yeah.
not as much of a stretch. But because you didn't go all the way back to 7th grade.
No.
Was it easy to land on 7th grade? Was that the point where you had the most awkwardness?
It came up a lot in our conversation.
Yeah.
Like just when we started being close, I feel like so much of the, to us, a lot of the like shame and trauma kind of things are funny or have a funny side to it. So a lot of our humor, like we talked about that a lot always.
And 7th grade is, at least the way I went to middle school, 6 is the first grade. So 7th is right in the middle, and there's something about it feeling like limbo. So there was that felt like an easy grade to go to because for me, at least, that's when I experienced the most bodily changes and went through hell. It was the worst year for me.
It's so fun. On a different note, just kind of looking back at it and some of the staples from that era, like the early 2000s and the things that come back, the AIM, I call it AIM.
I say AIM.
You say AIM? I always say AIM too.
wow.
And I remember my
say
first
AIM.
chats on AIM. Well, I was in high school in the late 90s, like 2000s.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, but like carpooling your mom's Suburban, all this stuff. I'm older than you guys. But what specific 7th grade reference or throwback did you need to like really kind of capture that era for you?
So many. I mean, we were just talking about it with someone today, but Bewitched, the band, there was this song, C'est la vie, and both Anna and I, as soon as it was brought up, it was like, that song, and we just both went like, our eyes were
roll back, you're
like,
there.
oh my God, this memory I remember, and it was, so things like that, the ones that you don't hear, the ones that aren't being talked about that often now, like Pogs. Do you remember Pogs?
Definitely.
Slammers.
Yeah, slammers.
They were like this big and you like
you slam them down. Yeah.
Poppers.
Poppers, yeah.
That's what we meant.
That was what we called them when we threw them down. They make a noise, right?
Oh, that's
Not
worth
Pop-
No, that's a snapper. That's like the Stockholm snappers.
Popple.
Let's just say this though, Maya, your real life mom.
Popple now.
Yeah, Popple now. Right, here we are. Your real life mom plays your mother in the show. That's the ultimate throwback. I mean, talk about being able to go back there, right? Like,
I mean, acting with her.
how true to life is she in here?
Pretty true to life. I will say she's definitely softer in the show than she was when I was growing up. I mean, she, from a Japanese culture, if my brother and I were being really loud and crazy, she was scary. Like there was definite strictness that we were trying to pull out of her. And in front of, on set, she'd just be like, no, I'm not. And she'd like, I'd say, hit the back of my head like hard, and she'd be like, I was like, Mom, that's not how you hit. Like,
do it how you did it.
Do it how you did it, and she just wouldn't. So.
Any specific childhood moments from her that worked into the show?
What did we do?
Her food.
Her food,
Like
cooking.
Maya described going to school and having your mom pack your lunches.
Yeah.
And carving roses out of radishes. I was so jealous when she told me that. I was like, I need to talk to my mom.
She would make bunnies out of apples. I mean, but I was ashamed of my lunch because there'd be like fish and rice, and everyone would have, Lunchables.
Yeah, right.
And it was like the most disgusting thing.
Just send me a Lunchable.
Yeah.
My favorite part about the show is you're acting alongside actual kids.
Yeah.
Which I think is so funny. So how did that kind of affect the vibe on set?
It was a relief overall, because there's no ego, and that's all something I think as adults even more we all struggle with a little bit, or I do, and so to just be with a bunch of 13-year-olds that are like figuring things out, and like I said, they couldn't fake it if they tried. Like it's just like very human.
And you have to watch your cursing and stuff, or be on your best behavior.
And I slipped a lot, but I tried to not. And also the energy of the kids, it infiltrated the crew. Like all of the crew and the cast who were adults started acting like they were 13 or going back to that time and having crushes on people, and it was just a very...
someone had a crush on the other, and she was like, he gave me a note I just found it under my folder.
Yeah.
You're like walking them through this?
Yeah.
I'm not stealing a bit from John Mulaney here, but I truly am afraid. I'm more afraid of like a group of 13 to 15-year-old boys on the street than anyone because they're so mean. They're able to just say things that just rip you apart.
Yeah. Well, so I forgot about that when I was around them because they were really nice, but now I'm like going back in my head because I remember girls that were really mean at 13 and they have phones, so they can probably text.
Even worse.
Especially around adults.
Yeah, just secretly.
So now I'm just like going back in my head remembering things.
Don't be paranoid, it's fine. Let's switch gears a little bit. Maya, some fans might remember you from the first season of Insecure. I mean, take us back to that. What was it like working with Issa Rae, and how did she keep people laughing on set?
I mean, she's a boss, so she was just an amazing woman to be around. I mean, she was just leading everyone with such grace and was so funny and so collaborative, like just a really amazing woman.
Yeah. And Anna, hello, Rosewood. No big deal. You had your experience doing that as well. Compare working on Rosewood to Pen 15. Is there any comparison at all?
Completely different. No, there's zero comparison.
Who on the set of Rosewood was the most like a 13-year-old girl? That's the question.
Probably me.
Was it? Yeah.
Am I look okay? Is everything okay? Am I messing up?
Yeah.
No, Rosewood was really special.
Yeah.
Everybody was so kind on that set. It was a good experience.
All right, we can't let you go without playing a game of Throwback Thursday.
ready.
Last superlatives.
Here we go.
We're gonna name a few
Each
from
of you.
from the 2000s, and you guys tell us who is most likely to partake in this fad that we name.
Here we go. You ready? Embarrassing AIM or AIM away messages. Most cringeworthy. Here we go. Oh yeah?
Oh.
Do you have a most cringeworthy away message or something you remember?
That I remember?
Or something
like
that was
like song quotes about boys. You were just like a Boys to Men song quote, and you were like, hell no, it's about him.
He knows. He knows who he is.
I think I knew what an away message was.
What?
So that's.
My parents didn't even let me have AIM, so I wasn't even allowed to have
You're
it.
better for it.
I know.
Yeah.
Probably is good. Okay, who is most likely to partake in trucker hats? That fad.
Oh, so neither of you did.
Shade.
Shade.
All right.
Mutual shade.
How about Uggs? Who is most likely to do the old Uggs? Both of you?
I'd say both of us.
I didn't do it.
You didn't do it?
No, all the girls
Who's
in my
most
school. I
likely
wanted
to wear them now?
Didn't do it then? Never too late. Most likely to spend hours perfecting your MySpace top 8.
Which is very dramatic when you think
Oh
that.
man, how
I guess
terrible,
so.
really. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy that you had to choose your top 8
What
or
is
top
the top
4?
8?
Wait, you don't remember that?
No,
You didn't do
I didn't do
MySpace?
MySpace.
You had like top 4, top 8.
I think they eventually expanded it to like 12 or
You basically
20.
ranked your friends.
Yeah, it was like here's my.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I
like
did
this is
do
my
it.
crew. Here they are, right at
Which
the top
is so
of your page.
dramatic.
That is.
All right, who went through a skater phase?
I went through skater boy phase, but I wasn't a skater.
Close.
I got it.
That
Yeah,
was
that
right.
makes sense. That makes sense.
This is
I'm
so
just now thinking back about my top 8, and I think I had like Britney Spears up there. Like, it was like so
You
stupid.
could pick celebrities.
Oh, you
Anyway,
could.
whatever.
There's always that cutoff of who didn't make that group.
We just go back and revisit MySpace for a while. Anyway, juicy,
I'm still up on that.
juicy tracksuits in every color.
This is when we're at 13, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted it, but I didn't have it. 'cause
Okay.
I didn't have the money to get
Yeah.
it, but all the girls did.
You didn't want or
I
have.
didn't want it.
Okay.
But
I was around girls who had it, and I wanted to fit in, so
Yeah.
I wanted
All right.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Who's most likely to have belly bling?
Like the
So
belly
like
button
belly ring or the rhinestones.
didn't you have a belly button ring at one point?
Where is that coming from?
Wait,
we know
I don't know, you
everything
have more
about each other.
piercings.
That's crazy.
More piercings than I do.
You probably.
Do you have one too?
No.
Oh, I do. I want to bring
Really?
it back in 2019. I
You
think we need to make the
should.
belly button rings.
Do you have it right now?
Well, I'm not wearing one, but I
Oh.
have the piercing. I have the hole, so I'm
tell
My
you-
friend did it with
Bring
a
it back.
potato and a needle. And
Oh yeah,
No,
my
no,
wife had
no.
one of those. That was like
I
the
think we should
key
bring it
to.
back in
That's the reason
style.
we're married is because she had that. Bring them on back.
Oh yeah.
did it for you.
Yeah, that was what did it.
yeah.
Maya and Anna, thank you so much for being
you
here.
so much.
Work on the belly rings. Everybody, be sure to catch Pen 15. It's streaming on Hulu Friday, February 8th.
All right, thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Jazz Jennings. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Jazz Jennings, and this is One Last Thing. The biggest splurge. Well, recently I got an 8-piece bucket of KFC fried chicken, and after that I feel like I'm never gonna eat fried chicken again in my life. Like, I can't do it anymore. That was the worst thing ever for my body. Last night out, I went to a hockey game with my friends and family, and that was a lot of fun because I went out and dropped the puck, and I actually messed up because they went to give me sticks as well, and I didn't get the stick. I started walking away. The last song stuck in my head is I'm Woman by Helen Reddy. I am woman, hear me roar, numbers too big to ignore. I like that song.
I am woman.